hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Unfiltered Live. So, thank you guys. If you're here for the first time, do appreciate you stopping in. Real quick, let's get all the particular information that we cover at the beginning of every show out of the way. So, if you're checking us out for the first time, you can follow us on our YouTube channel there. You can see it at the Gabe Little Experience on YouTube. Do us a favor. If you're going over to our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to the channel. We are always trying to build our viewership there and get over 1,000 subscribers so that we can customize our URL. I know it's a tacky sort of thing, but I do want that. So please, if you're over there, hit the notification bell as well to let you know whenever we are live, whenever we schedule new lives, and whenever we drop new content on the channel. So if you're checking us out on YouTube, thank you so very much. Okay, then, of course, our favorite platform, guys, LinkedIn. If you're over there on LinkedIn, if you're not connected with me, please do reach out. Would love to connect with you and follow the hashtag Unfiltered Live. We are putting all our content information there in the hashtag about the show. So if you're there watching us on LinkedIn, head over there and follow the hashtag. All right, let's get started, folks. We've got a few people already in the comments. Miss Maureen Wixon, who's saying hello. Thank you for being here. Of course, we got some other wonderful people here. Annette, how are you in the house? Thank you for stopping in. Yolanda is here as well. Jihan, how are you? Thank you for stopping in. Of course, Mr. Shure being here. Monique, thank you for tuning in, guys. You are in for a wonderful action-packed show. Oh, I spotted somebody new. This is why I love mentioning new people, or at least they're new to me. So Nancy Lee, thank you so much for tuning in and watching the show. And oh, Marcia, look, Marcia's here. Thank you so much. Hope I'm saying that right. Please excuse me if I don't. And oh, my friend, Mr. Junaid Ahmed. Awesome. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. And yes, as you can see, Dan Roth, there is a new animal in the background. There's a white bear now stuffed in between the other bear that's holding my Sure sign and my chicken that's holding the headphones. So yes, we do got our new animal in. So now we have 5 creatures up there, and they all have assigned jobs. So just so you know, we do assign them work here. So thank you again for tuning in, folks. All right, let's not delay this any further. Real quick, please check out our team over at Inky Black. They are the ones that designed my logo. They've designed my merch. So our merch store is launching, folks. That's exciting for me. So I'm going to be able to give away coffee mugs, shirts, hats. I mean, it's part of the brand and what I do. So thank you, Dana Fellows and Guy Graves and the wonderful team over at Inky Black. Let's show them a little love, will we? There we go, folks. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And man, I am excited for this evening's guest because number one, for me, I've followed this individual on the LinkedIn platform for a while. I actually have got really great content ideas and stuff from watching her live streams. And I admire her as a peer, as another creator, and as someone that I learn from myself. So, guys, can you do me a favor? Please help me welcome to the show this evening's guest, Miss Gillian Whitney, folks. There she is in the flesh, folks. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you so much. Like I said, gotta let it, guys, we'll have enough time with her. Let it permeate again like we did with Kevin last night. Don't go overboard. We got enough of Jillian to go around. So, Jillian, thank you so much, first of all, for coming on the show. I do appreciate it. Man, like I kind of talked about, I'm fanboying here a little bit about what I've done watching your streams and learning from you. And one of the things I want to mention is that one of the best ideas that I've ever gotten was watching one of your streams. So, oops, we're gonna go back to the big scene. I want to go to the
Probably
big scene.
with Jeff Young. Jeff
Yes,
Young,
that
right?
was the one with Jeff Young. So that conversation changed the
Which
scope.
one? One of six.
So okay, so it was the one you guys were talking about newsletters and newsletters
Yep.
features. Um,
Yep.
that was a game changer for me because at the time I was struggling on how to put together my newsletter that I was. It wasn't even a newsletter at that time. It was just a
Your
calendar
TV
guide.
guy.
Guide, yes, and I was wondering how to like scale it to another level, and I was struggling and finding ways to go. Oh my gosh, how am I gonna find a way to get this and scale it so that people will still find it useful and it allows me to still be creative and share as much information. And I watched your stream that day and I literally had a notebook out and was just taking notes and going, oh my God, I need this, I need to learn that. And within 2 days, I transitioned everything over into a newsletter and man, it saved me well, a lot of time first of all, and it allowed me to kind of expand the scope of what I wanted to do as a creator and letting everybody know. So thank you so much for first of all having that show and then having great guests like that all the time. So let's get started a little bit. I want to ask a few questions like how did you get started in doing first of all video and then doing live
Oh,
streaming because I love hearing other live streamers talk about their first sort of foray into getting behind a camera, turning it on, and then boom, here we are live.
okay. So I was doing video for years behind the camera. So I
Mm.
started my journey making. I'm a technical writer by background, ex-librarian. That's kind of the space I came from. And when I was raising my kids, I was a homeschool mom. A lot of people don't know this about me. So I was a
Oh,
homeschool mom. So I was trying to find stuff to do before there was a virtual world. So how do
yeah.
I work from home? And Zoom had just started, so that's way back. I saw Zoom and I went, I'm seeing potential with this. So I ended up getting a job working with a charter school and making courses for kids. And because I was homeschooling my kids, I was making virtual courses that taught other homeschools all across the country. And my first course was robotics of all things. It was
Oh, wow.
introduction to Lego Mindstorm. And I knew nothing, nothing. But I had a kid. And I said to my kid, can you build me a robot? And he said, yes. I took notes. I made a course. And then from there, I went on to a Google Ninja course. And then that's how I became the Google Goddess. And on it went. So eventually, kids grew up, moved out of the house. And it was just like, okay, time to level up.
Yeah.
And I started doing online marketing, working with my sister. And I thought, okay, I can take this whole video thing and do something a little bit different. And we did. And that's when I started making online courses about social media. And I did Facebook and I put out a whole course. And the very next day, Facebook changed its entire look. And my course was redundant. And I went, I got to rethink this thing. And I was finding Facebook didn't work for me, made the hop over to LinkedIn, found John Asperian, who just like entered my world and I understood LinkedIn because I was one of those, isn't this for resumes? But I found John, found it was the best cocktail party in the world. I love LinkedIn. It's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place. And then I realized I was doing SEO and that sort of thing. And people kept saying, how do I get on the first page of Google? You're a Google goddess. What do you do? So I was saying, well, are you blogging? And they said, blog. Yeah. Are you putting in keywords? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, where are you? And it was just like, okay, 688. Okay, you got a long way to go. So I thought, I got to help these people. I got to
Yeah.
help them leapfrog to the top of the Google search results. So, because I'm a Google goddess, I'm typing away trying to figure it out. Video was the answer. And it's like if you can rank on YouTube, then you rank on Google. And that's what I began to learn. And so I started, doing YouTube, and I loved LinkedIn more than I loved YouTube. So then I said, how do I take this video idea and use it to help people on LinkedIn? And I was making videos and doing stuff. And then one day I said, I think I have to get behind in front of the camera now. And I did. And I was doing those like looms where you're like a little circle and I'm teaching people. And then one day I just said, oh, what the heck? And I turned on the camera and that was it. I just got over myself, started doing video, specialized on LinkedIn because video is different
Yes.
platform to platform. What you do on YouTube, you don't necessarily do on LinkedIn. So I said, niching it down, be known for one thing, following the advice of John Asperian, and became the LinkedIn video expert. And that has been my niche. And really, I don't think you can throw a question at me that I don't know how to answer about video and LinkedIn. They just really work well together. And that was the deal. So, anyways, how to get to live stream? Well,
Yes.
my sister, who was my partner at the time, she's now I'm solo driving now,
Okay.
but at the time we were in business together. She was my partner. She applied for LinkedIn Live and said, "Oh, this is like a big thing. Everybody's doing LinkedIn Live." And it was just like I was still growing my network. I only
Mm-hmm.
had about 500 connections. I was small, and she didn't get it. And so it was, then it was like a lottery ticket. If you got LinkedIn
And live,
Live,
yes.
it
You
was
were.
hard. It was hard. Yeah, you were just like, oh, wow, flaunt it, baby, flaunt it. So, anyways, she didn't get it. And she said, why don't you apply? Because you're doing video, you stand a better chance. So I said, okay. So I applied, I got it. And then it was like, okay, now what the heck? Now what do I do?
What I
What do
do.
I do? And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do a show every week. I'll pick a day, I'll pick a time. I didn't even live in this country. I lived in Israel. So it was just
Wow.
like, okay, I'm living in Israel. It's the middle of the pandemic and I got LinkedIn Live. What am I going to do with it? And it was just like, well, I'll just I'll just have a chat with people because I'm good at chatting.
Yeah.
And so I picked a day, I picked a time, and this is what I recommend to everybody. Choose carefully, stay consistent. I just passed 100 LinkedIn Lives over 2 years. It took me 2 years to get there. I only missed one because I was deathly ill. I moved from Israel to the United States and didn't miss my LinkedIn Live.
Look, that's another round of applause, folks. Um, and for those who don't know, I love that you were touching on this because, everybody now has I have my creator mode turned on. I can now just stream. I can turn it on where they didn't know the tooth pulling process it was to actually get access to LinkedIn Live, filling out an application, waiting days, finding out.
Months, months, waiting
Oh, true,
months.
yes. So like mine was the same sort of ordeal when I started doing LinkedIn Live. I had been streaming for a few months across multiple platforms, and I applied, and it took me 3 months to actually find out I could actually get access to it. And when I did, of course, I was excited. I was like, man, I know what to do, and I was just going to run off and do LinkedIn and really concentrate on it because I saw the value of it. He's here tonight, and he's what I call my mentor. I interviewed him on Monday, but a gentleman by the name of Russ Johns. I saw him on LinkedIn
Oh,
for the
the
first time.
pirate.
The pirate himself, yes. I saw him for the first time on LinkedIn streaming here, and from that moment on, I said, I want to do that. And, so I went through the process of how to fill out the application, do everything that I was supposed to. And finally, when I got access, I was like, yes, I've arrived. And,
Mm,
we look at it now because we had to go through that process, but everybody's here is like, oh, I just turn on creator mode and boom, I can just
it.
go live. It's fine. And
I'll just ramble.
I'll just
Just
ramble.
turn it on and
Exactly.
ramble.
And not just that, but you've done 100 episodes, and folks, that is, you know, the secret sauce that everybody wants to talk about, right? They'll ask you about how have you been so successful? How did you gain traction? How did you do all of these things? Yes, there are other factors that kind of play into it, but it's the fact that you were consistent and people knew, hey, on Tuesdays, I know where to go. I know
Yep.
I'm gonna go watch. And
Yep.
that's the whole ordeal with what I do here on my streams. I try to keep it consistent when I was doing it. hey, same time every single night. And there are times that I feel like um, I do give up a little bit because of time slots and having to stay consistent so people can show up. But I've worked around it. I said I'm just going to start recording interviews and playing them in as live content. So I'm actually going to be doing my first with Dan Roth, who was here in the comments this
Cool.
Saturday, because I understand time constraints. I understand time zone differences. People across the pond who cannot stream at this hour because it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's insane to ask anybody to do that.
Oh,
I did it.
wimps.
I did it. Well, I love that you said.
Wimps.
I did it once. I'm not knowing that this woman, poor lady, that she kind of just said, "Yeah, I would love to come on the show and do an interview." So I booked it. We got it on, and you could tell she was a bit sluggish. And I was like, man, afterwards, I'm like, I'm sorry if it was a little slow or whatever. I was like, no, 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 you did fine. She said, well, it's like 2:30 here in the morning. I was like, oh, where are you? I
Whoops.
because I look at somebody's profile, LinkedIn profile, and sometimes people don't update um,
Where they are.
where they are, right? So when I book somebody or reach out to somebody, I'm thinking, oh, no worries, she's on the East Coast. It's only an hour ahead of time. Where actually she's now located in the UK, and it is 7 hours in front of where that was. So at that point, I kind of learned my lesson on how to manage time and reaching out to people. But again, hey, I love the attitude of a yeah wimp. Just if you're gonna
Well,
do
I'm
it,
I'm in Vegas. I'm in Vegas. And in Vegas, we're a different breed of people here. We're in it's like casino world. We don't know what the time is. The windows are always, I'm kidding with my windows being all dark like a casino. But it's kind of that mentality of because I lived in Israel and I had to deal and all my clients were in the US. I was up doing stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's
yeah,
like my original LinkedIn Live was 8 o'clock at night,
yeah.
So, and which is now 10 o'clock in the morning here. So I just kind of think sleep is overrated. I'll sleep when I die.
Listen, folks, you're getting gold here. Where else are you going to get this? And the thing. Hey, yes, Jihan, I can't. But the whole thing about it is that for us as creators, we do want to give the benefit of doubt. We want to have the best presentation possible, and sometimes it is uh, mindful of how we book, who we bring on,
Yes,
and that sort of
it
thing.
is.
And I
It
get
is.
that, but
It is.
sometimes again, this is what I tell people. Like you come on my show. There's a reason it's called Unfiltered Live. I want it to be very open so that you can be who you are, say what you are, and do what you're going to do, and not feel any kind of judgment. Because I know sometimes people stream and they have a professional uh, acclimate that they have to present to people, and I'm very understanding of that. But I also say that is not for me. I'm not that. I'm not that sort of individual, and I love that you saying you actually have a way of being able to kind of transition both. I see you with people on there, and I go, I would be afraid to have that guest on because
Oh.
because
Mm.
just knowing who I am, and I would be intimidated by. You've had him on multiple times, but John Asperian, I would be kind of like, how would we vibe? Um, I'm pretty sure we could get along. I mean, I did for a long. It's a reason for a while I hesitated, like asking my guest I had on last night, Kevin, um, because you get an idea of somebody, of
Yeah.
what somebody is, and I used to see him kind of talking and talking about brands and seeing all these people, and I go, oh my god, what would we talk about? And then we
Kevin
just
Kevin is a class act. Kevin is a
he is a
class
class
act.
act,
He
right?
is. He
But
is.
we just
And
vibed,
it's not an act. It's not an
No,
act. It's he's the real deal.
he is. He's an awesome, awesome human being. That's why, like after last night, I was like, man, a whole nother level of how how I
Mhm.
see him. So there are individuals that I'm like, well, I will reach out at some point, but I think, you know, again, I kind of like to get a feel of somebody a little bit more before I do. But What?
And I know what you mean, because it's like I've had people on my show that, they were in a different pond. Like that, I kind of felt like, okay, I'm swimming down here, but they're like way up there. And, people that like had met the queen. That was like amazing to me. And it was like I think I had like three people in a row that met the queen or
Wow.
met Prince William. And it was just like, I'm traveling with some mighty fine people here that like are meeting the queen, that
Right.
are like that was amazing for me. That was amazing for me. But you know what? I think the important thing is that everyone has something to teach us. There is no us and them.
No.
We all have a story to tell. And truly, you could have anybody on your LinkedIn Live or YouTube Live or whatever, and they have a gem to share, a golden nugget. And it's our job to just pull that out of them and share it with the world. And I think people are brought into our lives to teach us lessons every single day. So everyone is actually a VIP.
Yes, and that kind of leads into the next question that I wanted to ask you about, because as a video coach and teaching people about learning how to, um, what is the worst thing a person can do when they're creating a video marketing strategy for themselves or for their business when they go out and brand? Do you have any examples of things you've seen people just go out there and do so wrong that by the time they come back and reach out to you, like, I need help?
It's not caring about their customer, and
Ooh,
and not understanding who their customer is, and not understanding their customers' problems. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to just buy a course for anything. We don't want to just subscribe to another newsletter or buy your book unless it solves a problem and creates a transformation. So just trying to convince me to buy your widget isn't going to work. It's just not going to work. So that's the thing that people don't keep in mind. And somebody actually sent me a DM today trying to woo me away from my live streaming platform. And I love my live streaming platform, and I just don't want to leave. And I'm not interested in going and looking at their demo. And I said to them, quite honestly, I'm really, really happy. So you're not looking at my problem, because you don't even know what my problem is. You don't know anything about me. And if you knew me, you'd say, she doesn't have a problem. She just really likes the platform she's using, and she's really, really happy. So why are you trying to sell me something without really determining what I need? So, maybe if you came at me from my problem and I said, well, because one of the things I tell people is my number one mistake with live streaming was that I bought the free plan. Well, I didn't buy it. You can't buy a
you
free
can't.
plan. But I started on free. I started on free, which was a mistake because I couldn't get my first 10, I don't know, 10, 18 LinkedIn
Yeah.
lives
Oh
because
gosh.
I didn't have a recording, and they're gone. They're there. I can
Oh
dig, and they're on LinkedIn. You
no.
can't get them off. You can't get them off,
Oh.
So that was kind of a short-sightedness on my part. But at least what I do now is I tell people, don't make my mistake. You know, you have to allocate where you spend your money. And if you're going to do live streaming, just go all in and get a paid plan. There are things that you can cut corners on, but then there are things that you shouldn't. So back to the video, not really understanding who your ideal client is, and then what their problem is, and how your stuff could be a solution. That to me is the biggest mistake. Nobody's going to just buy your stuff for the sake of buying your stuff.
Ooh, I love that. And for a lot of people out there who want to get started and who, again, giving them the idea of like, hey, it's free to start. Yes, it is. Yes and no. There's. It's a weighted question sometimes when people ask this. Yes, you can go and do it free. You can go again. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, you can go to all these other places.
Yep.
But in terms of getting into actual live streaming where you are, again, thinking of just going beyond maybe one place or one platform, or even wanting to do it because they have the features that you're getting when you use a streaming service. Um, Going first of all with the paid plan, right? I mean, it's inexpensive, number one. Number two, it is a pay as you go if you want to. So yeah, there's a that's what I love is most of these streaming services will allow you to say, hey, if you're not satisfied after the first month, you don't have to just cancel. We don't have contracts or
Yeah.
whatever. So, I mean, it gives us the opportunity to say, hey, okay, I'm going to try it out for 30 days. If I don't like it, I don't have to go back and re-sign up. Maybe I do want to go with just stream on a Facebook platform, on Instagram. And that's fine. There's nothing at wrong at all to go do that. Um, but when you're getting into streaming, you are taking on the realm, especially here on LinkedIn. This is what I say about LinkedIn. It's so different. Um, you have to get acclimated a little bit to the tech because
Mm.
we don't have our own native streaming service here. So when we do, you have to learn and sign up. If you're going to stream here on LinkedIn, guess what? You have to sign up with just examples, StreamYards and Restreams and any of these other streaming services that you can actually use. So yeah, you're going to have to do a little bit of learning on your own. And again, what we kind of talked about before we got live is the fact that if you do start doing live streaming and you don't like it, hire a producer,
Yes.
hire somebody who, again, that will handle everything for you, because there's a few, again, again, my buddy Russ, he does this, and I've done this, and there's others that do it, you do it, where it takes a load and a burden off somebody who wants to quote unquote create content without having to go through and learning the whole process of using the interface, loading comments, loading the overlays, video, anything that you want to do to kind of add, like you mentioned, the bells and whistles to what all this is. It's a lot. So
Yes, and handling the stuff that could go wrong. Where, I know somebody who was doing a live stream not too long ago, and they had somebody spamming in their comments and putting in like bad URLs, like, here, go check out our, they were like leading people out of the live to go and get their credit card information. It was
oh,
very weird and spammy. Now, luckily, that person had staff that was helping, deleting comments, knocking things down. But if you're a solo person, you probably can't handle when things go kitty wumpus,
yeah,
and you're just like, you've got to deal with it. And it doesn't mean it has to be forever. Maybe you just want to hire somebody for the first 4 lives until you kind of, like, if you learn how to drive a car, right? If you kind of go back to when we were like 16,
yeah,
you didn't just get your license, you didn't just get your permit and hop in a car. You had to have somebody with you, kind of being a co-pilot, saying, oh, wait a minute, you kind of should be putting on the brakes now when it's yellow and not hit the accelerator, or, oh, okay, now you got to parallel park. You can do it. I'll get out. I'll direct you. All those little things. It could be the same idea, or even going back to what you said before about using the free plans. Anybody who wanted to jump into the live stream world, I would tell you, check them all out and see which is the best fit for you. Maybe StreamYard is good. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you want Restream. Maybe you want BeLive. There's so many different ones. So that's when you use the free, test them out, and just go live to YouTube, unlisted, privately, and just test and see which one fits. And then when you go all in and commit to your show, then get the paid plan, for that very first event, because 100 lives later, you will want that for
yeah.
sure.
Let's look at that. That is the guys. You're getting gold gems here from an expert who's gone through the process, right? So even somebody, as skilled as Gillian and talks about these sort of ordeals, right? We just, again, look at it from the perspective of, I don't, turning on a camera and just talking into it. And there's actually a lot more to it. And that's why finding somebody who can be a professional. And yes, Andrew, I agree with you. Parallel parking can be very hard. So there you go. That's why there's a reason why that,
And left turns
and left turn.
My mother who she's passed away now, but my mother would not go anywhere that required a left turn. She just would go right, because she says eventually you'll come back home. Eventually.
It's a strategy. It's okay. Hey, it's okay to have a strategy as long as you know that is what you're committed to, that process. And hey, there's nothing wrong with it at all. So,
Yep.
Love that answer, and love that. Hopefully, folks, if you're out there wanting to create a show or to learn what it is to actually live stream, guys, you're infested with live stream creators right now inside of not only the chat, but you're talking to a couple here on the screen. So you're getting your Q&A and whatever you want to ask. If you got any questions for Dylan, you can also put that in the chat. So one more I wanted to ask before I go into my shenanigans question. I always love doing this. Where did you come up with the name? I love this name, though. Where did you come up with the name for Video Easy Peasy? Now...
I don't really know. It's like I think I started with marketing easy peasy, and I always just kind of remembered, easy peasy, lemon breezy, lemon squeezy. I don't know, something like that. And I just kept saying everything is too hard. Video is so hard, and I kept thinking that it should be easy peasy. And then it hit me. And it's like, it started to become, somebody once mentioned me on a live and they said, I don't remember her name, but I remember she said easy peasy. And I went, oh, I better go get that URL.
Let me go right here. Let me take out notes right now.
That's a smart marketer. It's like, okay, when they kind of start saying, okay, and I began to see, I owned it. Like I owned it, literally. I do own the URL, but it was like I started to see. You go to Google, you Google easy peasy, video easy peasy. I show up. So it just makes sense. It makes sense. So get your phrase. It's like John Asperian is relentlessly helpful copywriter. He's not even a copywriter anymore because he's busy with his membership. But he's now the relentlessly helpful LinkedIn nerd. Same deal. So get your moniker, your motto, and then, own it, make it yours.
Love that.
Like the pirate.
The pirate. There you go.
As soon as you say Russ Johns, it's like, oh, the pirate. It's like, in this pirate broadcast, everything comes to mind. Like that's marketing.
Smart marketing. That's what I love about it, what you guys have done. Because again, you associate yourself with something like that, and people, when it comes to like top of mind and remembering somebody, do you know somebody who does video? Do you know somebody that does easy peasy? Reach out to Gillian. She will absolutely help you walk through the steps of either creating a video marketing strategy or helping you actually set everything up. So that, again, that's the way you market. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've probably dropped the ball on this myself because I didn't have the foresight when I was creating content when I started. So very much like when you think about it from the very beginning, like you said with your videos and not having access to them, and I remember, you look back on those things and go, okay, that's the lesson though, to take out of it, so that when that person does reach out to me and wants to learn, I can give them my wisdom and advice to say, hey, don't do this. You're destined for heartache if you do, because then, those are things that you probably could look back on. And luckily enough, I have mine saved from the very first one, but to show people as an example, look, this is what I looked like the very first time. And I am nowhere near polished or anything like I was. So, it takes time to build up sort of a And I think Russ was the one that said it, that said, practice, practice, practice. Um, and getting on here, and even you giving them the advice of test streaming, um,
Yes.
putting it on a YouTube channel, unlisted in a private, and go stream there and practice your craft so that you get, you know, familiar with how you want to look in the camera. How do you connect with your audience? How do you say all of these things to everybody who might be tuning in, or to even if you're doing it as recorded content? Like, how do you do that with when you're interviewing a guest? So I love that you share that, because I think there's a lot of people who can take lessons from what we're talking about here and implement it themselves, because there's still people. I mean, as much content that you think there is on this platform, there's not. There's
It's
still,
a monster. We must keep feeding.
yes, exactly, exactly. So, all right, I want to ask my shenanigans question here. So I've been asking,
Okay.
I even asked Kevin last night. So this one is for you. So if you could time travel, where would you like to travel to? Would you like to go back to the past, or would you like to go to the future?
I would like to go to the past. And I would tell you, I would go to Winnipeg, Canada in 1912. And I know that sounds like a very weird and bizarre thing to do, but that's because my great grandmother
Ooh,
moved sight unseen from Scotland, Aberdeen, Scotland, with two little kids. She was a widow. She was in her mid 20s, and she got on a boat, went to
wow,
Canada, got on a train from Quebec City all the way to Winnipeg, Canada, and got off the train in Winnipeg and began a new life. And it was actually a lot of bad stuff happened. But I would love to know the courage of a woman that could do that in 1912. And
wow.
I'm telling you, I channel her courageousness because it's coursing through my genes. That's how I went to Israel sight unseen. I moved there never being I'd never gone to Israel before, and I didn't speak the language, and I sold my house and everything and arrived in Israel with two dogs, my husband, and six suitcases. So
Wow.
her adventuresome is coming into my genes. So I'd like to go back and see the world that she was in, because I think that must have been an amazing time to be a courageous woman. Now
Wow.
it's easy.
Now it's
Now
easy,
it's
but
easy. Now it's easy peasy. But I couldn't
well,
imagine being a woman in
oh,
1912.
I can. That it only adds to it. That only adds to the burden that she probably carried and what she had to go through, and shows you like what kind of people those generation were, as opposed
Yep.
to like
Hardy,
heart
hardy
exactly.
people,
So
hardy people.
Garen, who's in actually in Winnipeg, or not in Winnipeg, he's in Canada. Is telling you Winnipeg is beautiful in the summer, beware in the winter. So, yeah, if it was in the
Mm.
winter, I can imagine that was even.
June. She
Oh,
arrived in June. She
oh,
arrived in June.
still,
Still,
that is a lot.
Winnipeg in June is the winter.
I
No,
was
it's
gonna
not.
say.
I'm from Canada. I don't like to diss Canada because actually that's where I was born. I was
Oh,
actually
there's
born
nothing
in
wrong with it.
Canada.
I mean,
So I love Canada. It's
that,
beautiful.
when you come from there, you're the one that can poke the stick about it. It's funny. You know it better than anybody else. So, 8 hours from where you are. Yes, Garen. But Canada, again, beautiful. I've been to Toronto. I wanted to explore a little bit more. I should have, but I did at least go once. So I do
It's,
love. But man, I tell you, 45 minutes goes by way too fast.
I know.
Um, for everybody here. So, is there anything that you would love to share, or how people can connect with you, Julian, here on the platform, and just kind of let them know
LinkedIn.
where to get?
LinkedIn. I'm all in on LinkedIn. So, just really, I'm the only video easy peasy Gillian Whitney out there. So go ahead, connect with me. If you say you saw me on this show today, I'll accept your request.
There you go.
So how about that?
Please
How about
write a
that?
look. That is my pet peeve. Write a personal message when you're
Yeah,
reaching
just
out to
say,
someone.
hey, I'm one of Gabe's peeps. I love the show, and I'd love to connect. I'll connect with you.
There you go, folks. You heard it right here. Um, live and in person. So you can't get it any better than that. So, Gillian, thank you so much for coming on the show. Sit tight, everybody else. Thank you again, guys. You again are the reason why we do what we do here. Why I show up here every single night and why we're doing this now. We are both, guess what? We're both down to episode number 9. So we have 91 more to go. That's all. Only 91, folks. But speaking of shows and taking down another one tomorrow, our guest on the show will be Sven Munchow. He is a TikTok creator who also teaches how to market on the TikTok platform. And we are going to have a conversation on how to use short form content and how to create that will, like he likes to say, make your wallet dance. So there you go. That is our guest for tomorrow evening. So again, guys, thank you again so much, guys, for being here. We are trying to get our, yes, Russ, I know it is 91 more to go. So tomorrow, after tomorrow, we'll be down to 90. So that's, it's a slow grind, but we'll get there eventually. So I want to thank Gillian for coming on the show. I also want to thank all of you guys for being a part of what I get to do here. Again, guys, you are the lifeblood of what I do here. And I appreciate you showing up here every single night. And all the gratitude in the world. I don't know if there's anything else that I can express except be well, folks. And I'll talk to you tomorrow evening, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. So until then, everybody, you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.